Queridos estudiantes, buenas noches. Nos encontramos hoy 24 de mayo. El objetivo de nuestra sesión de hoy es dar un apoyo de manera gramatical al proceso que ustedes están desarrollando en cuanto al proyecto colaborativo. Si bien es cierto, este ejercicio de la noche de hoy no es un ejercicio obligatorio, pues la idea es poder compartir con ustedes un poco la gramática que deben usar con relación a esa primera participación y desarrollo del proyecto. Pero adicional, pues es un ejercicio que nos permite aclarar dudas que tengamos todavía con relación al mismo ejercicio. Entonces, estoy dejando grabado esta sesión de manera que aquellas personas que nos vean posteriormente, pues tengan la opción de revisar lo que hicimos hoy. Entonces, importante tener en cuenta, cuando tenemos un ejercicio de comparativos y superlativos, pues estamos hablando de adjetivos con los cuales hacemos. Recordemos que los adjetivos nos permiten dar características, descripciones de cosas, personas, objetos, situaciones. Okay, I'm going to switch to English. It is very important to check that we can have comparatives that are short in English. And when having a short word, you simply have to include the ER in the comparative, such as strong, stronger, brave, braver. If you already have the E, you only have to include the R. There are some adjectives that finish in Y, such as crazy. When having this kind of situations, you simply have to change the Y for an I and you include the ER, such as crazier. And there are some adjectives in which you simply have to double the last letter, which is the consonant. If you have vowel plus consonant, such as hot, you simply have to double the T, which is in this case the consonant, hotter than. In some other cases, there are some adjectives that are long. If it is a long adjective, you have to use the word more at the beginning before the adjective, and then than and the comparison you are creating. More beautiful than, etc. If it is a superlative, in the cases where you have short words, you have to use the EST. The strongest. If they are short words in which you already have the E, you don't have to include the E, you simply need the ST. Brave, the bravest. When having superlatives in which they finish in Y, such as crazy, you need to change the Y and you write IST, the craziest. Again, when having the double consonant of the adjectives, such as hot, you have the hottest. There are some adjectives that are long adjectives, such as beautiful. In those cases, for superlative forms, you need to include the most, then you write the adjective. And because you are talking about one that is the most representative of a group, you don't need to include extra words. The most beautiful. Let's see some examples. Comparatives and superlatives. You have here a group of animals, dog, horse, elephant. To create the comparative, a dog is faster than an elephant. Remember that when you are doing comparisons, it's because you are comparing two things. Superlative. The horse is the fastest of the three animals. When doing superlative sentences, you are comparing one thing to all the others in a same group. If you have one syllable, remember the adjective fast, young. The comparative is made by including the ER, faster, younger. The superlative is made by the EST, the fastest, the youngest. A dog is faster than an elephant. That is the correct. Because fast is a short adjective, it would be incorrect to use more. Superlative. The horse is the fastest of the three animals. Once again, fast is a short adjective, and that's why you have to include the and the est at the end. It is incorrect to say the more fast. If you have one-syllable adjectives, but they already finish in E, such as nice, strange, you simply have to include the R or the ST. Nice, nicer, the nicest. Strange, stranger, the strangest. Harry is nicer than Frank. Dean is the nicest. Which is the strangest? And you have here the three animals. There are also adjectives that are one syllable in which you have consonant, a short vowel, and a consonant. Consonant B, short vowel I, and then again another consonant which is G. Big and hot are examples of these adjectives. In those cases is where you have to double the consonant, such as bigger, hotter, and in the superlative, the biggest, the hottest. Let's see. Monday was hotter than Sunday. We are comparing. Tuesday was the hottest day. Now, if you have two syllables, again ending in Y, remember that we changed the Y. Happy, crazy. Happier, the happiest. Crazier, the craziest. Two syllables ending in Y. Happy, happier, the happiest. Crazy, crazier, the craziest. Remember that you omit the Y and you change it for the IER. Or in the superlative, IEST. Examples. Here we have three people, Susan, Mary, and Mike. Mary is happier than Susan. Mike is the happiest from all of the group. On the other hand, we can have adjectives that are made of two or more syllables, such as famous. They are considered to be long adjectives. In those cases, we need to include for the comparative the word more, and in the superlative, the most. More famous, more expensive, the most famous, the most expensive. It is incorrect to say famouser. Remember that because it is considered to be a long adjective, you have to include the word more before the adjective. More famous than to make the comparison. Famousest is also incorrect for the superlative. The most famous is the correct one. Here we have other examples. With this, which is expensive, and expensive is considered to be a long adjective. A car is more expensive than a bike. The plane is the most expensive way to travel. So here, remember that this is a long adjective. Because of that, to make the comparative with the word more, and then to write the other object or person in which you are comparing the situation to. And for the superlative, you need the most and the adjective. Let's see the next one. Over here, in this case, we are having a comparative and a superlative with some exceptions. There are some exceptions with some adjectives. The adjective good, in the case of the comparative, it is better And in the case of the superlative, it is the best. Now, bad, the comparative is worse, and the superlative is the worst. Examples: you are a better singer than John. It is not proper to say more good or gooder, because this is an irregular adjective. In the case of the superlative, it was the worst decision she had ever made. You have most bad and baddest as examples of incorrect comparisons. There is a list over here with common exceptions of adjectives that require a different form. Good, better, the best. Bad, worse, the worst. Far, farther, or farther with you. And the the superlative, the farthest or the furthest with you. Okay. Old, older, the oldest. Elder is similar to older, the eldest. Many and much, which are considered to talk about big quantities. Because of that, the comparative is more and the superlative the most. The contrary of these two is little, which is talking about a few quantity, a short quantity. Less and the least. Let's observe some examples, okay? There is room for further improvement in English. Here we are talking about a metaphorical distance. How much further is it to the airport? Here you are talking about a physical distance. But remember that farther with A and U are related about the distance. So you can use whatever of those. Again, that short list that you can use to remember how to make comparatives and superlatives, depending on how many syllables you have in the adjective, but also you need to remember if they are irregular adjectives to remember the exceptions. Okay, so right here I just have some simple exercises for you to try to do it. Who's tall, you or your best friend? In this case, the correct would be who is taller, because you are comparing you and another person. Who is faster, cheetah or deer? You have two animals, so you are making a comparison. The worst day of the week is Monday. Here you are making a superlative sentence. You are talking that Monday is one of all of the week days that is the worst. Which is better, the watching TV or reading? Better for comparisons. Which is easier for you, speaking or understanding English? And here we have again some examples for you. Peter is older than Tom. Dan is taller than John. An elephant is bigger than a pig. Sarah is younger than Martha. The woman is stronger than the man. James is angrier than Polly. Little, you have the comparative, the adjective, less or the least. Less is the comparative. Dirty, remember, because it finishes in Y. Dirtier, the dirtiest. Big with double G, bigger, the biggest. Quiet, quieter, the quietest. Superlative. Clever, cleverer, the cleverest. Louder, loudest. Newer, the newest. Faster, and the fastest. We have here other. Slow, slower, the slowest. Older, and the oldest. Farther, the farthest. Taller, the tallest. Remember that what you have to take into account is that if you are having a short or a long adjective. Disgusting, it is a long adjective. more disgusting and the most disgusting. For beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful. Good, the comparative is better and the superlative is the best. Short, shorter, the shortest. More dangerous, the most dangerous. More difficult, the most difficult. More expensive, the most expensive. More delicious, the most delicious. Okay, so maybe you can find here some examples that are good for you to do the sentences that you are having in the forum of the project. When doing the project, it is very important to take into account if you are having a short or a long objective. If you are talking about a city in which you live and you are comparing your home, the place in which you live to a place in which you would like to travel, you need to use comparatives and superlatives. Example, I would like to travel to Paris. Paris is more beautiful than Bogota. Yes, so in this case, you are using comparisons. Paris is more expensive than Bogota, or you can say than Colombia. Okay, Paris is the most beautiful place in Europe. In those cases, that's what you need to write in the forum. In order to finish that part, and I observe that Natalia is here, so I would like to share a short video in which there is an exercise to finish talking about comparatives and superlatives. Let's see.
Comparatives compare two things. Cristiano is taller than Messi. Messi is shorter than Cristiano. Cristiano is older than Messi. Messi is younger than Cristiano. Pep is happier than Jose. Jose is angrier than Pep. Pep is friendlier than Jose. Jose is crazier than Pep. Tennis is more interesting than golf. Golf is more boring than tennis. Boxing is more aggressive than swimming. Swimming is less dangerous than boxing. At football, Brazil is better than America. America is worse than Brazil. At basketball, America is better than Brazil. Brazil is worse than America. Superlatives compare one thing to many others. Who is the tallest? Cristiano is the tallest. Who is the youngest? Messi is the youngest? Who is the happiest? Cholo is the happiest. Who is the craziest? Jose is the craziest. Which sport is the most aggressive? Boxing is the most aggressive. Which sport is the least dangerous? Swimming is the least dangerous. Who is the best football player? He is the best football player. Who is the worst basketball player? He is the worst. Tall, short, old, young, happy, angry, friendly, crazy, interesting, boring, aggressive, dangerous, good, bad. Comparatives and superlatives.
Okay, so this is all for tonight. What I would like you to take into account is the grammar that we studied. I expect it's really a shame that anybody connected today. It would be very good for all of you to watch this video and to clarify your doubts. Thank you so much.